How's it going, everyone? I'm Honan,
I'm Oliver.
and this is the K-pop podcast.
Yeah. One day we should go through and see what episode number we're on so we can say it.
I, it's a lot now.
Yeah. We've
If
probably passed like 100,
pretty close,
maybe.
I imagine. If we
We
haven't, we're
should
close. I think.
we should figure it out so we can like celebrate or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah. we've been on like 110 or something. Now we have no
yeah.
idea.
So news bulletins, I think there's not too much to talk about for once. The VMAs, of course, were the other day. And we saw Stray Kids and Blackpink and TXT and do stuff, and Stray Kids and TXT have performances, which was cool. So we get like that weird intersection of like K-pop and Western pop. You have like Taylor Swift like trying to process whatever the hell Stray Kids S Class is as a song, because that thing is such like a stitched together. I mean, it's like Stray Kids flavor K-pop, right? It's like stitched together weirdness with a lot of like hard EDM dance core in it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they had a pretty good reception, which is cool. Was kind of a bummer that 50/50 didn't win anything, but I don't know what the what the response would have been if they had.
What is the
So
process of them winning? Yeah, like what?
yeah, I mean they were nominated in three categories, but
Hmm.
yeah, but still cool. The main things I wanted to talk about with there's two contract situations. We kind of touched on one of them a while ago, which is the Blackpink contract, and it's being reported. Of course, this is just rumor at this point, nothing official, but it's been reported that Lisa has turned down YG's contract offer, which was apparently worth somewhere in the region of 40 million US dollars, which says a lot about the value that she carries,
Yeah.
as a brand, and that she clearly thinks that she's worth more than that, or whatever her reasons may be, if this is true. And if it is true, of course, and the other members have agreed to whatever, presumably similar value contracts with YG, then it does, of course, beg the question what the future will hold. I don't think I just wanted to say that as like a kind of update, because we already talked about Blackpink before, so we don't really need to go over the
Yeah.
same stuff we've already said. But certainly,
I
but
do
that
think it's
that number is interesting.
interesting because she could probably for sure pull a lot more money than that somewhere else. Just from
Yeah,
like online presence alone. Like,
yeah. I mean, you have to imagine that those brand deals carry like million, like each sponsored post must be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
yeah, and her
You know,
Instagram
like
has an insane amount of followers. It's quite a big gap. I'll add to like
yeah.
a lot of K-pop idols and stuff. Like
I think I saw one of those like like Social Blade equivalent kind of stat tracker website saying that that Lisa's posts are like the most valuable on Instagram, like in terms of the traction that they get and her followers and stuff. Even though she doesn't have she's nowhere near the most followers in the world,
mm,
but like if she posted a brand for like a sponsorship thing, like oh buy this bag or whatever, the value of it would be higher than if say Cristiano Ronaldo did the
yeah,
same thing. He has the most followers in the world, but the amount of traction they get is like
it's a
different. The
different
engagement's
group of
different.
followers and stuff too. They like it's a different
They're
kind of
really
following. Like
dedicated. Yeah,
yeah, and the her likes on her posts are crazy. I've seen her have
yeah.
like
So those
really
engagements.
instantaneously like 3 million like out of it, just like appear. I'm like Jesus Christ! Like one
Yeah,
day it's been posted or something. It's like
yeah. It's nuts. Um, so I hope that it doesn't mean that there's some kind of like discord within the group, like oh I think I'm worth more than that, or like maybe the others members got offered more or something like that. I have to imagine that that wouldn't be the case, but
hmm.
given what we know about like Thai idols and stuff in the past, getting offered less is possible.
It's
um
insane to me that they would offer her less. She's so obviously
yeah,
such a
I have to
big.
think now. I imagine before her contract probably was less, but now they would be presumably be offered the same. Um, but I just, whatever the situation, I hope obviously that they can resolve it amicably. But and even if she does choose to not re-sign with the company, that they can carry on
Like a
doing their
Mama Mi
thing, doing music
situation.
whenever. Yeah, exactly. And then the other one I think is probably a bit more negative rumor wise. I don't know if you've heard this yet, or if it might be a bit of a shock if so. But rumor is that Irene has rejected SM's contract
I did
offer.
just read about that like last night.
Um,
Yeah, I thought that was just like a
yeah,
casual rumor thing, right? Or
it
is that
is a
yeah?
rumor, but it's been reported in enough Korean media that I think it's probably worth talking about. Like, it's not just pop base on Twitter. It's like
Mm-hmm.
at least a decent number of Korean sites have picked up on it. Obviously, those things happen. Like one site reports it, and then the others just report on that. But um, yeah, and then the thing they were saying is like it would mean the end of Red Velvet as a whole, rather than just like a Mamamoo situation, as you said.
Yeah,
So,
because SM isn't like RBW. They wouldn't be like, "Yo,
but
you guys can
there's
continue and want to use all
no,
the different."
they absolutely have obviously done that before. Like that
Hmm.
happened. This happened with Girls' Generation. It's currently happening with
Oh yeah,
Super
that's right.
Junior.
Because
We
Tiffany
had
like
some of
went
them.
off to the US and
Yeah,
did
yeah.
and
A whole
So
bunch of them didn't
Sohyun went.
resign.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a out of question as an SM policy, but I think there may be something going on
Strife or
behind the
something there.
scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah, behind the scenes, which perhaps has led to that. I obviously, in the same way with Blackpink, we hope that that's not the case, and if she is choosing not to resign, it won't spell the permanent end of Red Velvet, whether as or if they can carry on without her or whatever it might be.
yeah. No.
Uh, but it's still a weird thing to think about,
I can't
you
watch
know,
Red Velvet
like
without I reached such an important like part of that
just
factor.
part of my life. Um, yeah, so it's not the best news. I suppose to counter that with some positive news from SM, there was confirmed the other day that all members of Shiny have re-signed with SM and will continue on. So that's great for them, obviously. It
Irene
is,
just heard Lisa got that 40 million offer and rejected. She's like, "Yo, I need those numbers to pop up."
yeah, Lisa's like, I mean, Irene had her first solo commercial in like years
Because of
recently.
scandal stuff, I think, right? 'Cause not
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of like.
no, yeah, she definitely kind of got pushed out a little bit, but she certainly still carries considerable weight. So
Understandably, is just like I could understand you're a brand and you're like, I'm just gonna put Irene's face on this. Like, you know,
yeah, so we'll have to see what transpires further, because we know it was already confirmed a while ago that Silgi had re-signed, for example, right? So we'll find out. Members may have different contract lengths or whatever, and we'll see some signing and some not signing, and then what that will mean for the group, we'll have to find out.
Not Red Velvet, dude. I need
Not Red Velvet,
Red Velvet
yeah.
for like another 12 years at least.
Especially because we had that rumor a little while ago saying that they were going to release more music later this year or something. I hope we don't get like an FX kind of farewell album type deal.
Don't even speak of it.
Yeah, I always mentally prepare myself for the worst. So.
Not Red Velvet of all the groups.
Yeah, don't take Red Velvet for
It's literally like such a shining jewel in K-pop. Can't get rid of that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it in terms of news stuff. There wasn't much else I had in mind to say. Fortunately, for once, we don't really have anything to talk about in regards to 50/50 or to Luna. I mean, we can talk about, obviously they're about to come back and stuff.
Yeah,
great and all. We're going on tours and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, it's been fairly quiet. I guess there's one thing to point out. There was kind of another negative sort of thing, but Jubilee.
The channel, right?
Yeah, big YouTube channel. I think they've got like 9 million subscribers.
Yeah,
they do those videos of like, who's the something.
Yeah, and they'll have like Democrat sits with Republican and has conversation. Yeah. Like I've seen them. Like...
Generally speaking, their videos are pretty innocuous.
Yeah.
They're just a bit kind of mainstream YouTube fun or whatever, and sometimes they're kind of funny. But they had one recently about K-pop, and they basically were doing this. Just putting stuff in about Moonbin, where one of the people on it was basically using like, haha, K-pop idols commit suicide as like a gotcha for why K-pop is bad. And they were like, and Jubilee obviously thought, yeah, this is fine. We'll just we'll air this. So a lot of people are very angry about it.
It's like
for
someone
justifiable
to
reason.
argue why K-pop is bad or something, and they just kept throwing that in there.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, just
that, like, why wouldn't, like, if someone did that, they should be like just kicked out of the room.
Right.
Like...
Just Yeah, people are very mad at Jubilee because they didn't edit it out or whatever. Like,
Or go like, yo, that's
chill.
nuts. Like, why
Yeah,
don't you roll that back like right now? Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, we don't have to comment on how stupid
no,
that
I
thing
can't
is,
believe
but
they.
it's worth mentioning
It's
anyway.
just so insensitive. It's not even a long time ago either, too. It's
No.
like that's just crazy to me. Especially like it had to be edited, okayed, and then uploaded.
Right, and like
There's like steps.
they go
You
through a
know?
lot of people, right? Like,
Like,
no one. It's crazy that no one in the room
at
said, "Hang on a
least
minute."
more than like 3 people possibly saw that before it went up or something, you know, and it's just
Yeah, exactly. Very bizarre.
because I know what it's like to be sitting there and editing a video and to have to see a clip a bunch of times. So someone had to like a couple times like hear that scene or whatever and just be like, "That's okay," and upload it. That is just nuts.
Yeah.
That's there's arguments to be made about anything what is bad or good, but you can't go there. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. Um,
Imagine
yeah,
if I started like
yeah,
just railing into rock music about all the fucking crazy people
yeah,
who've
yeah.
died
It's like, yeah, what,
like
what the fuck? You listen to garage rock? What about what happened to Kurt Cobain?
yeah,
Dude?
like
Like,
it is such a
Brad Pitt, man.
ridiculous argument too to even make.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just nuts. And it's kind of crazy that so many people still kind of follow that. Like, I mean, we talked about this one of the earliest episodes we did, right? Like the whole like dark side of K-pop trope, you know.
mm.
And
As though
it
there
just
was
seems like
never a dark side of like every music
in any
in
industry,
the
yeah.
industry, yeah. Like Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor having to buy back like his entire catalog of music being screwed over for years and stuff. It's like, are you kidding me, dude? Like this stuff just happens in music industry. Like it just
Whenever money's involved, shit will always happen, and
yeah.
people will always get exploited.
You have bands like Metallica who have just exuberant amounts of wealth, so it seems like it's not a big deal, but they're like buying back their music over the years from like the ownership, you know, of from labels and massive corporations. It's like Elektra Records owned like this huge chunk of everything. And it's like that's what it's like in the music industry. Like it's
yeah, and it always rubbed me in a very wrong way that people always want to use it as like a gotcha. Like you listen to K-pop and you're stupid because look at the damage it causes, and then that person is like a Joy Division fan or something. It's like, bro, like, come on, like
there's so many cases of iconic artists just being like, oh, my label screwed me over so much, it was so bad, like I wasn't making money, like that's just like music industry 101 of history, like of it,
and equally that people within that industry for that reason or for any reason can be depressed. You know, like shit happens.
Anytime a corporation has a hold of artistic creativity, that is
I mean,
anyways, fuck that guy. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, no need for any of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much else to talk about. A festival in London got cancelled. That was funny. That's about it.
Who got cancelled? Wait, what?
There was a festival that was done. Some like Western K-pop company, like promotion company, working with SBS to put on a concert in London. They invited a bunch of people. It was like the Boys, Want Us, Billy. I think Dreamcatcher were going to be there. I think maybe ITZY. I think
it's like one of those last minutes. Like, sorry, it's not happening.
Yeah, just like it was like a weekend away or something, and they were just like, "Oh, it's cancelled."
It's like what almost happened with that stupid thing in the Rose Bowl Stadium here.
Yeah, honestly, it's happened so many times now. There were just these companies are a mess. It's like they were just like, oh yeah, there was some unavoidable local circumstances.
There's so many people.
Whatever that means.
As someone who worked stagehand at like big festivals, sometimes like especially when it was like for Foo Fighters and King Perry together and stuff, like people underestimate like the amount.
Oh, it's big.
Of shit involved. And the amount of crew that is hired and stuff. Like, when we're, like, setting up Steel Deck and everything, and you have sound crews and like actual ground crews setting the stage up, and then people who are basically managing all of it at the same time. Like it is like
if you ever go backstage like at any kind of big show, just the amount of crew doing stuff, like you'll be like, oh, like people out there working.
Even like when I worked like Ohana one time, which was just like Eddie Vedder puts that on. He's Pearl Jam's lead singer. It's like his own kind of festival he puts on. Even that had like an insane amount of effort and crew put into it, and that's just something Eddie Vedder threw together. Like, so
Ohana means family.
At least someone like him has been in music so long, he understands not to fuck that
right
or whatever. But if we were just, like,
I mean, I don't know what the issue was exactly. If it was like, if it was,
I think the issue is sometimes you get these people who don't
know how to
understand that industry and don't understand what it takes, and they think I can just throw together a festival.
And they see like, oh, people are nuts for K-pop. Like we can definitely sell enough tickets to cover the costs here. And then it's like you're putting on a show, and like I think it was like the O2 Arena in London, which is like anything in London is extremely expensive, but that place is expensive as hell to want to rent out and do stuff in. Like, I think they probably just ran way too much overhead and couldn't.
And I think in this case, they think highly of themselves doing it on their own or something, and they don't hire someone who probably has been in the process before to like
for sure
put it all together.
And there's some weird ones like there's a show got announced in Prague, like a big K-pop show in Prague. It's the only, or like the first, like a show of its kind to go to the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as it's not called.
Czech Republic K-pop show. It's truly traveling.
I mean, the thing is, it's like in terms of Europe, it's like Prague is like a brilliant location because it's like very central. So it's like it's pretty much equidistant to like Italy, Germany, France, Poland.
A large swath of Europe can make it to see that show.
And and it's Europe. You can hop on a train and you just go. It's like, it's not too bad.
Unless you're in England.
Well, actually, you can get the train from England.
No, I just remember with the whole like Brexit thing when everyone was complaining about that. You have to
show your passport. But it's like they aimed really big. Like right away, like the venue they've got is like a big arena, and then so they've invited Signature there, so it's the Signature's first show abroad if it goes ahead.
If it actually happens, but it seems like it's not.
And the tickets are like 160 euros minimum. That's like the lowest price, and I'm like, I don't know if many people are gonna fill out an arena in Prague to see like Nugu artists.
Yeah. Without a big attached name or whatever.
Yeah. Let me just double check what the full lineup is, because I can't I saw Signature and the rest of my brain just ignored everyone else.
As it should.
Okay. To be fair, the main appealers are Monster X, which I imagine will just be Shono and Channel 1, because the others are in the military. Gravity and AB6. So like, decent popularity boy groups. But again, I wouldn't say that.
Not to fill like the entire O2 arena, maybe.
Monster X are obviously really popular in Europe, but Gravity and AB6, I don't know how much.
If it was the full Monster X group, for sure I could see the whole arena.
Yeah, they could probably do it. Yeah.
But otherwise. Yeah, but collectively all together between all those groups, it might.
Yeah, you'd hope so. I have like the two Signature fans from the Czech Republic are going absolutely nuts in there, but they're also like, yo, this shit is really fucking expensive. Like, it's
160 euros. That's like, what's the difference in dollars again? It's like a little bit
more or less the same.
It's like
around the same. Yeah. $170.
That's a decent chunk of change concert ticket.
And yeah, especially
unless you're in the US and you're like buying a scalped ticket, you're just like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah, as always. Available on Ticketmaster. You know what the follow up from that's
10 times the price. What it should.
Yeah, enjoy.
So, someone bought this ticket for $90. Now it's $300. Thank you.
But either way, it's while I think the organizers are shit, and we've talked before here about like just really bad tour organizers and stuff, it is cool to see how much outreach it's getting. Like we're getting these like almost just every week. It seems like there's a new tour announced and stuff. And before it was like felt like groups would get maybe one tour if they were lucky in their whole career.
World Tour is gonna when that see what the dates are. It's gonna burn my wallet, bro. I'm going all in. I'm gonna get that like double VIP package.
Oh, actually, that reminds me of the other thing I wanted to talk about. Kakao have announced that they're selling, or they want to sell, a good deal of their shares in Starship. I think they wanted to. I think it was 110 billion won worth of shares, which I don't know if that's a controlling stake. I have to imagine it might be, but it's probably not over 50%, but it's probably like a good chunk of it. I don't know what the
I'm not happy about this because like I feel like IVE is run so well and everything is like so good, and I don't want anything to change like the style of how they're running Starship or anything.
Yeah. It certainly opens the door for outside investment, which could be a very positive thing, obviously.
Or it could be a really bad thing.
Or it could be a very bad thing. Yeah, it can always go both ways. It could also perhaps mean that people from within the Starship group themselves are able to buy their own shares.
It's
and regain a larger, portion of control of it or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to see what happens on that one. But my first thought was like Hive being like that meme of like just behind the tree, like
it's interesting Kakao wants to do that because if anything, Starship's probably been like a really good investment right now for them because of IVE and how good that has been.
And yeah, IVE is smashing it. Gravity are having like record sales as well. WJSN are also there. Monster X will come back. Like there's a good. It's a very good, solid basis of artists.
Just the way things have been run at Starship has been like so good. I feel like right now. Yeah, I just hope nothing kind of changes from like any sort of investment. Like if Hive did somehow invest in them, I don't think that would be good. I think that would actually really change the formula of Starship, and it would be like another thing put into the Hive umbrella of the Hive sound sphere, thing. Like
it would be like crazy if they were able to get a majority stake or something. Yeah, for sure.
I hope.
But we'll have to see.
It'd be what you talked about would be like the coolest outcome if Starship bought like a lot of their own shares or something.
Get the members themselves to buy them.
Wonyan just buys the company.
Yeah, Onion's like, I'm actually incredibly wealthy. If you've all forgotten that, like,
it'd be hilarious. Imagine Wonyan's just like, I'm the CEO now.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I think Eugene has done the most commercials of any idol in 2023.
No, I know. I think the joke is just Wonyan just looks like someone who could be like a CEO of her own agency.
She could, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So,
all right. That was our news update for you all. For now we have our Queendom Puzzle. It's the full review we're doing now. I'm finito. This
is gonna be quite a chunky thing to go through.
Yeah, but I really
whole thing
precisely listed each thing the way I want it, and we'll cover it. Okay, so we're not gonna be just like going blah 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 about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
What was from continuing from where I had left off to the end? You watched it when I watched it live as well. Was the rap singing round, the Queendom team versus puzzle team?
Yep.
And if you do have up like the
I do
the winners of the rounds, then that's good because I have like my rankings, what I thought was the best and who was the best in their teams, but then I know that's not always what best, obviously.
All right. So should we just go?
I'll go ahead and go through what from like last to first my rankings of the rap singing round.
Well, remember that they were each like in a versus situation, right? So it should just be like which side you thought should win, which song won in each particular battle, right?
Okay, so if I remember correctly, Rush Hour was versus Weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, I put Rush Hour higher.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, I love the song Weekend by Taeyeon. I just like thought it was a little, as a group performance, it didn't hit for me.
Yeah. It's a tough one to do, I think.
Mm.
Like we kind of talked before about like making the song into a 4-person song and stuff. And it's like I thought it was a cute, like nice performance. I loved Sion on the bike. I thought was
There was like
hilarious.
really the floating like
Yeah, the two
scene
of
in the
it was
beginning.
Chewie and who was the other one? Was it Chewie and Yeonhee or Chewie and no,
I
Chewie
think
and Sujin who were up there,
so.
right?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like none of the performances were bad. All the performances
No,
were
they were all
really
good.
good. It's
Yeah.
just like some were way better than others.
Yeah.
It was like
I think like Rush Hour felt like a very Queendom-y performance. They just kind of
yes, and
gave
I think
that
the song was more
energy and stuff.
suited.
Yeah.
Personally, I think sometimes it sucks when you don't get a song that's as suited for this type of
Well, I mean,
show.
they had the choice, right? That was something that they added for this show, that they gave them the choice of 3 or something that they could go for. So that was a factor.
Because Rush Hour was J Hope and Crush, right?
Yeah.
Crush and
Crush
J Hope.
and J-Hope.
It has that like snappiness, the upbeat kind of like,
and like they're completely different songs. Like it's like
way different
classic,
styles.
like hip hop song versus like a kind of city pop esque chill song.
I had put Yeonhee as the MVP of Weekend. There's kind of a similar vein with her in a lot of the performances. She's just like so consistently good, you know. Like some people, maybe they have like one really shining moment or something like that, whereas Yeonhee's like that stable consistency where it's like I know she's just gonna not be bad or at all. Sure. Like, you know, like everything's gonna be good every time she's in the performance. Like,
I'll say I think this is probably her. For me, this is probably her standout moment, or her like her strongest performance for me. Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree. I think Rush Hour was a stronger performance. I think it didn't need the whole like driving in, like in and Yuki like driving into the and it kind of broke the flow of the song off a bit in the kind of unnecessary way. Like they could have done like a shorter, more flashy intro rather than just actually watching Yeon slowly pull into the lot, like checking her left and right as she goes in. Like I don't know, if they could have done it a bit more stylishly.
For
but,
sure.
Yeah, it was a good performance.
I gave Rush Hour Yordam the MVP. Listen, it's not just because I am a Yordam trash, okay? It's because anytime Yordam is on the stage, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, in that performance especially, she did like that kind of like, it's like a kick thing towards the, it was just, had my attention. Man,
I'm never gonna
had all my attention. Yeah. There was other people in the performance, but
there were.
God of Yorm was like the only thing that was taking my attention away.
Okay.
And altogether right now in my ranking, 6th was Weekend and Rush Hour's 5th. So those were my bottom of the whole round of performances and rankings. So now, if I'm remembering correctly, Wannabe was versus If We Ever Meet Again.
No,
it's the other way around. It's
Hopeless Romantic.
Hopeless Romantic was that's right. Hopeless Romantic was against If We Ever Meet Again. That's right. I remember because of the style switch.
Yeah, they're both the ballady ones.
The ballady kind of yeah. Because Hopeless Romantic is what's his name, right? That
Big Naori.
Big Naori. You just don't hear that name and think you're gonna get that type of song. I love it.
Yeah.
If We Ever Meet Again was obviously Borda and Kay together, and it's interesting for me because on paper this should be
a wash.
My favorite performance of the entire show. On paper, like it would be like, okay, that's gonna be my favorite moment in all of Queendom Puzzle, and it was an awesome moment. It was very good. It was very enjoyable, obviously, but it was not my favorite moment in all of Queendom Puzzle. Arguably, Hopeless Romantic was up there as being
Mm.
one of my favorite moments in all of Queendom Puzzle.
I have to agree as
And
well.
I put that higher as well than If We Ever Meet Again, which if before I saw those performances you asked me, I'd say Cab, like no way.
Yeah.
But
I think
watching,
I think I did have that like wry smile when when we were talking about what we thought about. We were like doing predictions for this round before when we talked about it, if you remember. And you were saying like Kay and Bora together is like the best thing ever. Like,
yeah, and it
come
was
on.
so good. Like it's not like I didn't think like this is awesome.
It was still great,
It's
yeah.
still great. I think it's just because Hopeless Romantic happened right after that, and it was just like this is like the best performance in this whole. Like,
Yeah, I think what really got me about the Hopeless Romantic performance, not only that I really like the song, and like if you ever meet again, I can take or leave. Sorry, young woman stands, but like I think it was the fact that there wasn't anyone in there who was known or like reputable as like a a really good vocalist, and like technically, Bora and Kay washed them. Like let's not get that
no,
twisted.
yeah,
Like
if you're
their
talking about like the
technical
prowess of the
ability,
vocals,
yeah.
yeah.
But like there was something really nice about seeing people like Jury, people like Doha, who you just don't really hear singing in their own groups like at all. And Jiwoo as well, obviously, who's like a freaking, the rawest of rookies. And Fai, who's it was an unknown, but has shown herself to be a very capable singer. Um, them all singing together so well, like really nice harmonies, just really solid performance from everyone, combined with like a nice stage. I like the movement in it. I like the positioning and stuff. I thought that was really nice. I loved the circle pan thing they did. Yeah, it was a really, really good performance. And it's certainly one I was not expecting to enjoy as much.
Those people that aren't normally like the power vocalists or anything just like really stepped up in
Yeah,
that performance too, like you're saying. Like I
for
think
sure.
they just like elevated their game. So overall, my MVPs for that were, let me take a look here on my paper. Sorry, I have it all like it's like the Charlie meme, where everything's like
Yeah.
zagged everywhere. I put for Bora for If We Ever Meet Again the MVP. Listen, IK obviously is always amazing.
Yeah.
And I had Judy as my MVP of Hopeless Romantic, just because I was like so excited to see her like step up in that song. Like,
And
that
she has such a nice tone to listen to, Jury. Like
yeah.
her, she just sounds great.
I really like. I feel like she doesn't get enough like.
She barely gets lines in Rocket
Parts
Punch
and
so
stuff. Yeah, because she's
hard
got
to
a
figure
really
out,
pleasant voice to listen to and stuff.
But
Like,
I get that it doesn't always fit Rocket Punch like songs. A lot of them tend to be higher pitch and stuff. But like, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's the exact same with Doha. Like, God, Doha is so good on this show. Like, I already knew, like, from the very first round, it was like, oh, obviously, I know she's gonna body a performance like Nude because like she's made for that kind of performance. But then her to have such like strong presence and vocals in a vocal song, and it's like, oh, someone's sign her up. Like, give her the shot, man.
all those people in that performance, like you said, were not the ones. Well, Fi has a really strong, good voice, but
Yeah, Fight's was very solid.
overall,
like,
I have to say Fi. I really hope she gets like a lot of fans from the show because I think she was just so good and like so much better
and
than
very
I think.
very self assured as well. Like she knew what she was about, and she maybe at the end we can do like a rundown of everyone if we have time.
Yeah, I can like in another episode really think about like
Yeah.
a full ranking. That would take me some time to really think that whole group of them, like the whole list. I have my 7 that I wanted, but
Yeah,
we'll I could do that as well.
do that sometime. That might be fun. Okay, and then it was I
So,
think we're both
I
in
didn't tell
agreement.
you. So I put Hopeless Romantic as my number 1
Yeah.
of that whole
Okay.
round, and I put If
Okay.
We Ever Meet Again in 3rd.
I think I could agree with Hopeless Romantic number 1. Maybe my number 2. That I personally haven't thought about it, but
I just think when I think of all those performances, that one stuck with me so much more. I still remember that one like the most from that round. Like that's why I think I have to give it number 1. The impact of like going into it, I was like, oh, like I like these members and stuff, and just thinking casually like, oh, this is a big naughty song, and then it was just like,
Yeah.
this is great, like the whole time. You know, I think it's because that level of like anticipation was not there, like it was for Bora and Kane. Then it's just like
Right. It was very unexpected. I mean, do you ever find yourself going to listen to the song now?
Yeah, it's a really good song. I like Big Naughty makes some really good music.
It's
like,
with Suhyun from Akmu on that one. So, you know, added plus. Yeah, so I think we're both. I think that one, I think, is where the voting was wrong. You know, I think the Queendom team deserved the dub, but obviously, Kay and Bora pulled through.
Yeah, which is not surprising. I think just Kay's popularity.
Yeah, good vocals plus
a
ballad. I mean, they're both popular singers.
A ballad, Kay and Bora. Like, I mean, I understand.
I imagine that just every 50-year-old woman in a like 30-mile radius heard Lim Young Woon's song and just gravitated and started voting, and that was what pushed it over the edge. But yeah. He just announced the concert, incidentally, over here. It's gonna all of Seoul.
I always remember that thing with him and Jaewon at that award show or whatever, like the rose, right, or whatever. He apparently got like hate online afterwards for that.
I love how he's constantly not Big Naughty, but Lim Young Woon. I love how he's constantly just completely out of place at all these award shows, just constantly winning stuff. It's hilarious. Anyway, so Wannabe versus Time of Our Life.
Yes, Wannabe on paper 2 is one I should just be like, because I love that song. I love It's Yellow Wannabe. Rock version of Wannabe in my mind, I'm like, let's go. Yes. And I must say, the rock version is a little underwhelming for me compared to like the original, especially no dance breakdown in that song. It's just...
Yeah.
I know it's not a dance round, but the no dance breakdown in Wannabe, it's such an important part of the song to me, that like Ryujin like, you know, like
that's the intro, right? But
no, but the dance breakdown too has them kind of do like the shuffle thing, and they get to the ground.
It's
the side like this,
and
right?
They do like the,
and that beat going while they do it, like, and that's like the moment you wait for every time.
And if you're doing something with a rock version, that would be the time you could like go crazy with the instrumental as well. Obviously that's not what you're supposed to vote for, but yeah, I hate that when they do like we're gonna do like a rock version of a song, and it's just kind of like you get like the same 2 chords, just play them over the top of the original lyrics. It's like, I don't know, it kind of fell flat. I thought the intro was cool, the Jihan looked great, and I was not okay with it, and like, but
do you even need to ask who my MVP of Wannabe was?
Or it was Rina, wasn't it? Wasn't she? Yeah. Okay.
To be fair, Rina killed it in that performance.
Yeah, I mean, Rina killed it pretty consistently. But like, yeah, no, I didn't think it was very good overall. I just thought it was a bit lacking.
I still enjoyed it, but because I still love that song. But I just remember thinking to myself, the original sound is so much better than the rock version, and that says a lot because I love rock versions of everything.
Right.
Like, I was just like,
yeah, it just fell a bit flat.
Yeah, they could have structured it better, in my opinion. Then we had Day 6, obviously, was the other performance choice, and that was awesome. I thought that was almost my number 1, and kind of battled with Hopeless Romantic for my
I think this would be my number 1, I think, overall. Yeah.
And in that one, Huisa, is that how you say it?
Huisa, yeah.
Huisa, like...
I thought
killed it.
This was, I mean, I think all of them did a great job.
They did.
And again, it was like that a team of people who traditionally don't have that same shine or don't get that same spotlight, you know.
Yes.
I thought Ellie did fantastic. I thought she was my standout. I thought her vocals were fantastic. I thought generally, like, when she was on stage, she was really commanding. I'm now extremely biased because I bumped into Ellie in a restaurant last week.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember you and Ava told that
bizarre thing to have happened. Like, we just sat eating, and Ava was just like, "Yo, I think Ellie just walked in." And I was like, I mean, I looked over, and all I could see was the back of a girl's head, and I was like, "Nah, you're capping."
Dude, Ava was like grabbing all the magic
Yeah.
charm while there. He runs a alley
He's
there.
like
He,
the most ringing endorsement. Like, come to Korea for a week, and you're gonna meet a whole bunch of
yeah, he
different
met
K-pop
Sejong, he met
idols. Like,
GWSN, like what is it? He met Chase Soul, he met the Nation's Visual in person.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and obviously lovely girl. Anyway, but but yeah, no, I did think she was fantastic in the performance. I thought, overall, I thought the performance was great. The Mira did a good job as well. Obviously,
Miru did. The Miru is obviously very impactful when she's on screen, and because she's Miru and everything. But I just think I had to give that one to Husa. Just like I thought.
That's fair. I mean, Husa was a real standout in the
she
show.
Was just like every time she was in that performance, it was just elevating it every single time.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, I think this one was definitely one I was shocked that Wannabe won this, honestly.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Becca did say that while I was watching it, and I just like auto deleted it from my brain. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, you can speculate on whatever the reason.
Was Nana in the Wannabe team?
No, Nana was in Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, that's right. I remember Nana and Rush Hour because I remember Yodam and Nana's like, oh my god, never mind. Don't even make me think about that.
It was just, I mean, the only really popular member in the group was Jihan, but like, I don't know if her.
I guess maybe that song's just so like.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I guess I'm just gonna move on from that. Overall, my ranking of the whole round was Hopeless Romantic first, Day 6 second, If We Ever Meet Again third, Wannabe fourth, fifth was Rush Hour, sixth was Weekend. For me, was my final ranking of that round.
Maybe.
I think I just love that song that much. That even the rock version just like being kind of like, I was still just like Rena and all in like. Rena was like, for me, like my big new favorite
awakening
from this show. Sure. Yeah, so I think that's the big thing with that. So that was the ranking overall for MVP songs, everything from vocal round. Yes. Yep.
And
continuing on
dance performances.
Now we are on the Queendom vs. Puzzle dance round, and this was 14 performances now versus like the 6 we got last time.
4.
We had 16 performances in the round before, and this was 14 performances.
Well,
now.
4. I think you said 14. Like
no, 14.
I was like, did I miss a whole
performances? Yes, I know. I can see how like word salad wise that could be confusing.
I was like. Yes. What are you trying to say? Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was Bad Blood versus Web and Glow Up versus Over Water, right?
You remember incorrectly.
Incorrectly.
It was Bad Blood versus Over Water and Web versus Glow Up.
Maybe I just thought in my mind Bad Blood versus Web should have been stylistically what should have happened. I think in my brain that's what like my brain was like, why was Bad Blood not versus Web or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because sometimes when you have such a contrast, I'm like, it's hard to judge the same way.
Yes.
When there's such a contrast of style, and it's like, this is just so... I can't... These are not the same vein at all. Like, or something, Like, when a ballad happens and then someone throws in a song that's just like a bop or something, Like, in between. It's always a little confusing to rank that way. Yeah. So my brain wants to think of Bad Blood being versus Web, but I got you. Bad Blood versus Over Water, Glow Up was versus... I remember now, because I remember the switch... from Bad Blood to Overwater.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was kind of a bit of a unusual switch, I guess you'd say, in my mind, to rank them.
Yeah.
Let me think for a second, because Bad Blood, I remember I really loved that song. That might have been one of my bangers of bangers in the whole thing. Yeah,
it was one of the best songs like made for a show like this that there's been. Like, it was really good, and also it's fucking the group debuted today, right? In terms of when we're filming this, that that song is not on the EP, and I am so mad about it. Like,
What?
bro, if those songs don't
I hope
appear
they're
on some album somewhere,
they're saving
like,
it or something, right? Like
I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah, let's just hope they just didn't have time to re-record or whatever. But like, yeah, come on, bro.
just
At
release
least
that version because that version was a woo.
yeah, yeah, it smacked.
I was
but-
the living cat jam like the entire time. I was,
Yeah,
like,
but obviously
like-
for the dance round, it's like you have to try and consider just the dance performance and not about how much.
I know Ava was getting mad at me because that happened, and I was like, "Dub, it's wrapped up,"
Yeah.
or whatever. I was like, "Number
Sure.
one, like the wrap it, bow it,
Yeah,
tie it." Like
it's hard not to when you enjoy a song that much. But obviously there were mistakes in the performance. Like there was the notable mistake with yeah, and trying to light the
yeah,
thing that didn't work,
which
and
is not
stuff
so much like
that.
a dance
No,
problem,
it's
but more of
certainly
a like
performance.
performance issue
Yeah.
than like a dance issue.
Yeah, and obviously part of it is like, okay, if there's a blip, like how do you recover? And obviously they recovered just fine. So that's the factor. But yeah, I thought overall it was good. Overwater also had the mistake, right? Was that the one where they were trying to balance, like they tried to do the splits and fell? Was that a different one?
I don't remember that happening.
I don't know.
Over water. So Bad Blood, I remember Sangha really impressing me and being my MVP and be just kind of because I'm sorry to Sangha, but I forgot. I asked who she was while I was watching the performance because she was very impressive, and then Ava and Logan were telling me like, "Yo, like
mad,
that Sangha," and like, and I was like, "Okay, she's awesome in this performance, very eye catching." With Over Water, Mewtwo was like adorable overload. and I had to she was like what I remember most from that performance.
I think even though I preferred Bad Blood, I think I actually preferred Overwater as the song. Like not as the song, as the performance.
As the performance. I was like excuse me.
Yeah. I prefer Bad Blood as the song, but I think I preferred Overwater as the performance. I think I just liked the cohesion a bit more, I guess, is the thing I'm looking for.
This is somewhere me and you differ so much. It's interesting.
Yeah, I thought they were both good, and I think they both had some mistakes. But I think there was something of when I watched Overwater, I remember thinking it felt like a really good unit performance, whereas Bad Blood felt like a series of individual performances that were next to one another. That makes any sense. So. But it was a tough one to call, and I wasn't mad that Bad Blood won, obviously. But yeah, I was just thinking, actually, I like briefly watched them back. I just kind of skimmed through them before we started this to refresh my memory, and I remember thinking, actually, Novel was I quite liked it. So,
I'll tell you right now, I put Overwater last in my rankings, and I put. I had this like arrow, the Charlie arrow going between, like the two. Bad Blood second when I really think about it right now for me. I think it's just because I know I should judge only dance, but the dance and the song are such a banger that like I just like combined together. It had a lot of impact, and I remember just like loving that performance so much so that I didn't even notice Yoon's mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't even notice. Like, I was just in it. I was just, like, cat jamming during that whole performance.
Yeah, the song did be slapping.
And I remember Sangha did a hard carry on that one for me.
She was very good in that one. Like, a lot better than I thought she had been previously.
If I'm watching something and I'm just like, who's that? like, the whole time, you're killing that, like, performance. You know what I
remember I mean like for a dance heavy song, I thought Kay did a good job holding her own in it.
I think I give the reason I don't give Kay like an MVP in that situation or something is because she's like such a veteran, and I just expect her to slay everything at all times.
She's got to drink her Ensure before that one to get the bones and everything flowing right, But
you know what I mean with Kay? It's like I know Kay's gonna be good no matter what.
She was never
Or
a strong dancer though, so it's still
yeah, I get
worthy.
it.
No,
There's just like such a like I've been there and done that
sure.
with Kay, like kind of thing. I
I,
expect
I,
you
I just
to be
think it's
comfortable.
funny to see her dressed up in like girl crush
Yeah,
concept
I thought
clothes
she's actually suited it.
and stuff. Oh yeah, like way
Yeah,
more than
like
I would have thought. Obviously she's just very good. She's
she
just a
can do
natural
like that
performer.
fierce
Yeah,
style
yeah,
look.
with the good makeup and stuff like that,
Hmm.
that makes it work. But it's still bizarre because that's just the thing that Lovelyz never did. You know, like so it's interesting. It's a different side of her.
What did she change her name to? AOA.
Chanmi,
Yeah, what did Chenmi change her name
Doha.
to? Dohwa. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I could have easily given her the dub for that one because anytime she's in that style of performance, that like I'm from AOA comes out and just
But
like
she was in Overwater.
no. I'm saying okay, yeah, I'm
Well,
confused then. Wait, why did my who was it I'm thinking of from? Who am I thinking of from Bad Blood? That was the like veteran idol. Was it K the whole time that I was thinking was
so
the
Barbara was Nana, Sanga, Cian, Yeon, Wuyeon, and Kay.
what perform? Oh, I'm thinking of a different round. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a completely different round. This is the problem when
We,
you watch so many
we have a lot of
performances.
rounds to
When
go
you
through
watch so many performances,
simultaneously.
it's the
Yeah.
problem when some things blend. And I remember Dohwa doing like the Slay era, you know, but it was not this. It was not this. I remember K. I remember. So Songa had like a reddish kind of
Yeah, she had her
going
hair
on,
in the two braids at that point, I
and
think.
she was by far slayed that song the most to me.
Yeah,
Over,
given that Sanga came out as like one of the rappers, a field in which I think she got cleared in by Yin and
she
Yuki.
likes them,
Sorry,
right?
Saga. Yeah.
I'll have to check out
Then
Lightsome.
she did
She
a
impressed
performance there.
me quite a bit.
I still can't get over her tone. She just sounds congested. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's the one they call Mini Soyeon sometimes or whatever,
Yeah.
which is not a nickname
It's not
anyone
what you
could
should
have.
know. Yeah.
Nor deserves it unless they've written like 30 hit songs and carried
No,
an entire
she,
company on their back.
she can forge her own identity.
I just feel like that you can't compare someone to Soyeon and what she's done
No.
in the industry. Overwater Meter was my MVP, like we said before. Just cuteness overload, I guess you would say, or something. Just
like I thought that team was like destined to lose pretty much because it just didn't have like Bad Blood had Nana, Yeo, and Kay. Like it's gonna have a lot of support.
Nana
and, like,
alone, I think, is enough to win you around sometimes.
Yeah, and like Overwater just it had like the Triple S girls that no one knows. It had like the one of the lesser popular members from Weekly had Doha, Miru, and Fi. Like that's wasn't enough, you know. But I still can see why Bad Blood would win anyway. But
I heard that song alone, and I was like, "Give this a crown right now." But so we had Web
and
Glow Up.
Yeah, I had the opposite effect of Bad Blood for Glow Up for me because I disliked the song to the point that I could barely even concentrate on the performance.
Got you. Web was my favorite.
Okay.
And
I can see why.
Like stylistically, not song. Obviously, I thought Bad Blood was hands down the GOAT song for like maybe the whole Queendom Puzzle of songs. Like that was like the goated song of like original songs, you know, because that's like one I just want to keep listening to. But Web performance I thought was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good. But again, I had the same.
It's my style. It's like the second it hit.
I really liked it and thought it was cool. But what I didn't like once they brought the ribbons into play.
You just don't like your fancy ribbon movements. I see. I'm a fan.
I love the good fancy ribbon movement. But what I didn't like was that it became very static.
Like gimmicky to you or something.
No. The formation literally it felt very static. It felt like Bora was out on the right hand side of the formation for like the last like minute and a half.
Not enough
of the
fluidity, like movement. Of
like
it,
there wasn't movement, there wasn't like a good distribution of center time in terms of the actual formation. It felt it felt even more so than Bad Blood. It felt like watching 7 different people doing the same performance next to one another.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a theme here,
great,
and I have a problem.
Okay.
I have Arena as my MVP here again. And
I think that would be she would get it too.
But... And I think honestly, like every performance, like this style that she was in and stuff, I was just like falling out of my chair. So, I honestly think some of that like biases just plays into me like what I rank.
I mean, like I say, like this team had Rena, Bora, Yoram, like you're just doomed.
I had all my faves just attacking me at the same time. Like Yoram and Rena and Bora in the same frame for me is just a lot going on.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still giving Web the dub over Blow Up. So that's not a...
You'd stick over Water overall was the best.
Maybe. I think, yeah, probably. I think it probably is like over Water. Then
I think in this case, for me and you, it's just like a difference of style opinion kind of thing.
Maybe.
Like Meritly, all the performances were super good.
They were all very, they were all very solid.
And they had like obviously they all were killing it in the day. It's not like anyone was like, oh my god, you're just like not dancing good or something. You know what I mean? Like in any of them, like they were all really fluid.
Yeah,
and, like a lot
I think
of
the one thing, and we've talked about this before, and was Dewey. I don't know, like when I was just watching the Glop performance just before this, there was a point before she came on like to have her part, and she looked like knackered. She looked like she was struggling to keep going. And I don't know, I think something must be not quite right health wise, because she looked like she was really struggling.
Then having watched Second World where she was doing really awesome performances, we saw like that first round when she did her intro performance and she like ran out of breath and like certain things like that I'm not used to ever seeing from her, because she's been around for a bit and performed for quite a while. Like she knows what she's doing, so it's interesting.
She's definitely a pro, and that's why it's so noticeable, right? It's like it feels like there's something just not quite right with her, and that's
maybe I don't want to assume anything, but it could be the uncertainty of like
whatever
everything.
It is, Obviously, we hope everything's okay with her because we love her, and but it's something I kept noticing throughout the show that she just didn't feel like she was up to 100%.
It's difficult too because there's some people in this show that are just when you talk about Yoram and you talk about Yin and certain stage presences and things like that, there are just some people in this show that just command like attention and stage presence instantly from you. And it's not that Jui doesn't have good stage presence or anything like that. It's just like if she's on stage with any of those members are gonna like grab me right away, like every time.
So then after this round, Jui was one of the 5 members who was eliminated.
Can you say the 5 real quick for me?
So it was Jui, Chirin, Soan, Sanga, and Soyeon. The ones. I thought this elimination in general was like kind of pointless. I don't know. It was kind of like why are we just cutting 5 members like right before that? We had like 2 episodes to go at this point. It was like
just go to the end and then pick the
like
lineup.
Why not just pick the line? Yeah, I don't know.
Eliminations are always done in a really interesting way in these shows. Yeah. It does kind of. I guess you have to.
Sure, but it's like why 5? I mean, I guess maybe if Herin and Cheon had stayed in the show, maybe they would have eliminated 7 at this point, and they changed it. But I don't know. Either way, it felt a bit weird, but I don't think there were any real surprises.
I must say, having watched some of these rounds, Cheon would have really had an easy go of some of these rounds. I think.
She would have strolled.
Like, that round, I think, would have been like a walk in the park for sure for
Yeah.
Cheon, like, and she would have just commanded your attention. Like,
She'd have been talking
I
shit the
think,
whole time.
yeah, I honestly think it wasn't a bad decision for her to leave.
No.
I honestly think for her career, it wasn't a bad decision. I think if she wants to focus on herself, obviously, and I don't know what this would have done for her except just being like another notch in the I won a competition show or something, you know, like winning the most competition shows, like
Sure.
the like I never said I gave Ellie the glow ups MVP, but my overall ranking for this, I don't like really disagree with those eliminations, I guess.
I think the one that shocked me was Soen a little bit.
Oh, from Weekly, right?
Yeah, because I think she had made
She
pretty.
had been really good. I wonder if that's just a in general popularity thing, not merit, you know, because she was really
hard to
good in
say.
a lot of the performances, especially the performance with Kay was just like one of the most phenomenal performances in the entire
I mean,
show.
I can see some people being against her because she's on the chunkier side. But like,
She's just healthy, though. It's not like what.
I mean, this is Korea, bro. Like, I, I, I don't know. I can't
I
think of
would have
any.
thought she earned a lot of respect and merit from the K performance and how good that was. That was like my top 3 moments, you know. The like on the floor, like choreo, that was like it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think she was very solid in every round, and she showed, and her personality I think is very pleasant and nice and funny. I don't think she did anything that would have earned her any enemies.
For sure. I think you might be right. Sometimes people are just like so shallow, maybe in
Yeah. I thought the fact,
voting.
for example, like Seon getting eliminated, I was expecting because I was like, I mean, they're like brand new, hasn't built the fan base yet, and I was like, the difference between
S, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the difference between Soyeon and Jiwoo was crazy in votes.
Triple S
Like,
members
sense to me, but yeah.
Triple S members were too like fresh in this.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm shocked that Jiwoo didn't get eliminated. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
like
they all, well, like you said, sometimes people are a little shallow, and I think one thing the Triple S members do have in spades is visual, like.
well, I think Jiwoo had the whole like she's a baby thing that people want to adopt her, and that kind of. I also accidentally voted for her once. Like when I was doing filling out the thing on my phone, I didn't realize that. I was like, oh shit, I voted for you. I was like, so it was the vote numbers. There wasn't that one vote that just swayed everything. But
I must say, anyone who would eliminate Soon from looks has clearly never been sent anything from Ava or Logan before.
I don't know what they've been sending in. I'm not sure I want to know.
My last ranking for those rounds is Web first, Bad Blood second. I had I changed my rankings. I had Overwater in third, Interesting, and Glow Up in fourth. I thought I had Glow Up in third, but I must have had a change of heart at some point and did my.
You saw the line.
I did a full like switch around with my arrows pointing everywhere. Okay, yeah. I had Web, Bad Blood, Overwater, Glow Up is what I ended up changing my ranking to.
I'll accept that.
Because I think originally when it happened, I just instantly put Bad Blood in first and was like, wrap it up and call it a day or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that was the dance round.
Yeah.
Then what happened was those 5 were eliminated and we went into semifinals.
Yes, where we scrapped. We didn't have the Queendom Puzzle team thing anymore. We just had like split up into teams. And then we had
such
like
trash.
a round.
I'm just looking at my MVPs again.
I feel like I know who's who in each one anyway.
Like, I found a lane and I never changed, you know, like
I mean, to be honest though, I respect that. You're not swerving, like you're consistent. So you know.
We had puzzling, right? I do
puzzling
and I don't give a.
Yeah.
But I don't in reverse order of that we had I don't give a, I do, and puzzling was last.
No, I don't give a 136.3.
No. I mean the order of those
35.3, and then
performances.
I
The order.
order was puzzling. I don't give a an I do.
Also, I was right the first time I said it. Okay.
And then winners was I don't give a puzzling and I do. And
the reason I'm a little confused these orders sometimes was the way I watched. Okay, that's
sure.
It.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I put. Do you want to know my MVPs first?
Can I guess?
Yes. So I don't give a. Who do you think my MVP was?
If I don't give a, Europe.
Yes. How about for I do?
If I do, Nana. It's either Nana or Bora, but
it's interesting. I have to say,
is it Yonhee? Don't tell me it's Yonhee.
You would think Bora, and I would understand why you would think so.
Okay.
But it was Yanni.
It was Yanni. Okay, interesting.
I told you towards the watching these performances, I just had to give a lot of credit for how consistency is, I think, huge.
Sure.
And I think if you're consistently that good, then I'll keep giving you like big props for it. Because some people have like big ups and downs. And for me, Yanni did not have those swerves of ups and downs. She's every time
it
was
consistently average.
No, I don't agree. She was consistently very good in the performances. I don't agree with average.
Okay.
How about my puzzling rate?
Rena.
Okay, yes, I don't like, even know. I didn't even need to ask.
Yeah, it's like
that one. That's why I said I was kind of just being like trash throughout the show. But to be honest, it's how my honest opinion of it too. Just like it's one of those people that can take the screen over and the performance over, in my opinion, for sure. Like,
I mean, I saw Heike on Saturday, and even then, I was just like, when I was watching, and anytime Rena was doing something, I'm not into Rena in the same way that you're into Rena, but anytime she was on stage doing something, I was just like, oh, okay, like my eyes are immediately drawn to whatever she's doing, and like she has a very good stage presence. So
in my opinion, anytime Rena was in a performance, it was elevated for like how solid the performance was. I will say, I put like Bora / Yanni for I do, because the concept, obviously, when Bora stepped out of that concept, I just about flew out the window in my chair.
Was that the bubble thing they did?
It was the the bride concept thing.
Ah, that's right. I honestly, I didn't really like any of these songs.
You didn't? Okay, you didn't like the style of any of them?
I think I've kind of wiped them from my memory.
I definitely can say to the round before's music, it was a step down.
And it was a shame, because there were some pretty good people behind these. Like, I remember it was done by Bobby, right? There was that kind of hilarious thing of Bobby like shyly greeting the members and stuff, which was funny. But I don't think any of them really stood out to me.
Bad Blood was such a good song that I almost wanted them to just like bring it back again as a different performance.
Just get everyone just do different performances.
Everyone has to do a different version of Bad Blood. Would have been like,
you get the rock version of Bad Blood.
I will say it looks like I never changed any of my order for this one. I put puzzling, I do, I don't give a. Puzzling was in first, I do in second, I don't give a in third for me.
Okay.
And I think I do was just because I liked maybe not the song, but the concept performance was interesting to me.
Okay.
I would say. Sometimes...
That was the one that Young
in a performance setting, a song can go higher for me depending on how the execution of like the concept was. Even if I don't think the song was better, because I think I do would probably be my least favorite song. Sure. But they had a good concept execution compared to I I Don't Give a I believe was why I did that ranking.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, nothing got me about that one. I remember it just felt very kind of just a bit boring
I
and
understand.
flat.
I think the previous round was better for sure.
It was. I think for the semi-final round, this was kind of most underwhelming.
Like
Okay, yeah, I remember I did it. Yeah,
dance round might have been like rap vocal round dance rounds combined was like one of the highs of the show, I would say.
Yeah. This was it was the Ryan June song, wasn't it? I Do.
I just automatically when you say that name,
Fuck
I
you,
see
Ryan.
the obligatory
Tomato.
from Ava and Logan. I see the
Yeah.
obligatory in the chat just like hating Ryan.
Yeah, as you should.
Although Logan was like conflicted because Ryan June wrote the weekly fan song.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. And I'd like just watched that before watching these.
I think he's written every single song on the IVE album, or like he's composed every single one.
I hope that
The new
is
mini.
a good thing.
I mean, the thing is, he's an asshole,
Mm.
but he makes bangers.
Good. Well, then I'm fine. I'm happy. I can deal with an artist or creator who I really don't like their personality stuff as long as they make good music.
I just scrolled through the I Don't Give a performance again. I went straight to a part where Ellie is like showing her hip, and I'm just like, that is not the girl I ran into in that takopi restaurant.
Ellie, yeah, definitely. I thought. Well, you'll see when I talk about my final rankings and stuff.
Okay.
I must say, growing up a Megadeth fan and dealing with Dave Mustaine has long ago made me someone who can separate the personality of the artist and the music that I love consuming.
I can do that too, obviously.
Yeah. Like if Ryan Jin makes a bunch of IVE bangers, I'll enjoy those songs separating who the person is from the songs.
I love a good Roman Polanski movie.
Oh my god! Well, that's another level of what we're talking about. Being there's a difference between.
Wait, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I get the joke. That you took that to like.
Let me tell you about that.
You turned that dial. You turned that dial and you
Disneyland.
swung that all the way over there.
Yeah, that's what I do. I saw Roman Polanski in Disneyland once.
That is terrifying.
Horrifying.
Were you a child?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know who he was.
Of course. Like, what kid goes around like, I know Roman Polanski?
I mean, I was a pretty artistic kid. Well, that maybe there was another letter in there. But my mom was like, that's Roman Polanski. And she's like pointing at him and asking me. And I'm like fucking 11 or whatever to confirm. And I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like, I like The Thin Red Line. That's a good movie. He directed that, right?
That's a war movie, right? Did
he
do that? Or is that like Ridley Scott?
No, that's Terrence Malick, I think.
Oh, okay. That to me, Thin Red Line reminds me of like a Ridley Scott movie or something. You know, like a or like an Oliver Stone kind of like.
It is Terrence Malick. I'm good. Don't worry. But anyway, but I didn't know. Yeah. So, but I was like, I don't know. I think it's just some old man. Either way, it was some old dude who presumably looked like Roman Polanski, who was a Disneyland. And
I wonder if it even really was Roman Polanski. I mean, like no, it typical just old white guy, dude that was like chilling
some sweet grandfather with his grandkids,
and just being. Unfortunately tied to Roman Polanski.
My mom is just there like, you dirty bro. She didn't say anything to it, it's fine. But anyway, it's going to be my forever anecdote, regardless of whether or not it was actually him. What were we talking about?
I did my final semifinals rankings. And
okay.
You kind of like didn't think that round was anywhere near as good as the previous round, and I could kind of agree. Song-wise, it didn't hit the same at all.
Yeah.
I did think puzzling was really good performance, but yeah, you seem to have like just washed that round from your mind. So we could move on to the final.
I just had a quick look through it again. I think I Don't Give a What would be my, even though I didn't like the song, it would be my best, like the best performance, and then I Do, and then puzzling. Yeah.
I Don't Give a was your favorite performance. Okay.
I think, yeah, but like I said, I don't.
These shows me and you sometimes like really agree, and sometimes we're just like so different on our like.
Crazy how opinions work.
No. I think it's because I tie to if a person really did something versus like the collective, I think.
Yeah, I tend to think about the collective
Mm.
more than the individual. It aligns with
Because
my
I think
politics.
what really gets me in a performance is if one person really took over and gravitated me in the performance.
Yeah, I think I often like if I think of it like that, and because I can I can identify, oh, this person is bodying this performance,
Mm.
but then I'm like, does that mean the performance was good, or does it mean that one person was just way above everyone else was not great, and that one person was really good? Like
Sometimes it
it can
can
be a
be
bit of
both.
it can be, yeah,
Like if you think of Red Velvet as an example of performances, like think of what Solgi can do sometimes
right,
and everything like that.
yeah. So it's yeah, it could be a bit up in the air sometimes, but yeah. Well, either way, then we have the final, and there's no, I mean, like I don't know, they're doing charismatic and snap again. I thought it was kind of lame. Not gonna lie,
Yeah,
I
for
mean, it was
sure.
nice. I don't, but I don't think either of those songs carried any significant weight through the rest of the show, right? So it's kind of like, do these matter? Like, I don't know. I would have preferred to have seen something new, but like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I thought they were fun for what they were, but yeah.
We're on the finals then. The finals
Yeah.
of it. Which was
Well, we have the other eliminations first,
oh
right?
yeah,
So
go ahead, give me that whole list.
so we had Tozawa was eliminated, Miru was eliminated, Sujin was eliminated, G1 was eliminated, Fi was eliminated, and then most shockingly of all, and undoubtedly devastating for you, Rina and Bora were eliminated. Which is like a fucking travesty that they didn't make the final,
I
honestly.
think
Even
it
if
is because I think
it's
they
crazy.
deserved to.
It's crazy.
I
I think
especially
yeah.
think Bora deserved to make it to the
Well,
final.
okay, so I think Bora kind of faded a bit
Don't say
at,
it.
because she's not as good. She's solid, but she's not as good in performance. Just where she's not singing.
Mm.
You know, like
Faya on merit definitely deserved
Fi was
to
so
make
good.
it
Honestly,
further.
I did great on the show, and I think if she just wasn't a total unknown, I think she could have gone a long way. Mira, I was kind of expecting her, and I honestly, first elimination, I was expecting her and Mira to go just because of like who they are.
Mm.
So I was pleased for them that they got as far as they did. But yeah, Rena going, because I thought Rena, like you said, Rena was like a standout in almost everything she did. It's kind of crazy that she went out. Bora, like, yeah, it's like in stuff like Web, it's like she was barely noticeable. But then it's like you know what she delivers, and the fact that she didn't, go to that final stage, I think is just crazy.
Yeah, I do think Rena deserved, if out of them all, just the consistency of like entertaining to go that far. But
Yeah. I would have loved to have seen what your reaction would have been if watching the whole episode, by the way. Like seeing Bora get canned. This is
I'm
before
so glad I didn't have to.
you would have had to deal with
I
Rena going and then Bora going. Bora was the last one they announced as well.
I
It was
can't
rough.
deal with the like, because for Bora it's so unfortunate, just like
Yeah.
Bora has already deserved to win before, like in my opinion, with Girls Planet and stuff. So I just, yeah, it seems to be like a theme with her. Like she's really good and gets like far in a show, and then just,
Yeah. Her points actually did fall off. She had about 50,000 fewer votes.
And then you have to have a certain moment, and I think maybe she just didn't have that. Like you have to have kind of
She
like
needed another standout point.
another standout thing that makes everyone get behind her. And I think there was a bit of unfortunate like evil editing in the beginning and things like that and stuff. Just some.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, and I don't want to like turn this into like some shade towards any other members or whatever, because I think everyone is good, but like it's insane to me that you have like Wuyon who couldn't sing her note versus Bora, and like Wuyon survives to the final and Bora doesn't.
No,
What?
and like I said, Bora just.
Yeah.
I think Bora, Arena deserve Fi. I think those three deserved maybe. I'm not gonna name names.
They
but I
deserve
think
to
they
at least
deserved
make
more
it to
than
the final.
some to
Yeah.
make it to the final.
I mean, name
I'm not
names.
gonna
I
name
don't really
names,
know.
but yeah.
Tell you what, Suyun as well. I think she was lucky to make it to the final.
Yeah.
Jiwoo, I think, was also fortunate to make it to the final. Um,
How do you
it
think?
is
What do
what
you
it
think
is.
of? Well, first I'll tell you, Billionaire. I gave Nana the MVP. Go watch it again,
God,
and you will.
that song was so bad.
I know, but if you watch the performance again, you'll know why Nana got MVP. Last piece. Okay. Do you want to guess who got MVP?
Bora and Rina are out, so who could get? I don't even know who was in last
It was
piece.
Yordam.
Zioram was in last piece. Okay, I was gonna. That would have been my
And
guess, but I
I
didn't
think
remember if she was in there
Yordam's
or not.
existence alone, because I did not care too much for the final round songs compared to
No,
Bad Blood just elevated things to here, and the songs
and
for
then the
me
rest
did that
dropped off.
afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Last Piece getting above Billionaire in my song ranking for that final round was purely because of Yordam being there.
Okay,
And
that's
that
fair.
is like the only factor, because between the two songs I do not remember anything differentiating them as like something I was like, this
No,
song
and
is like,
and like as is often the case in like the live finals and stuff, the performances are always just kind of a bit meh,
for sure.
you know. But that's fine. Like they're not. I mean, apart from live voting in that moment, there's not that much weight that they had, right? It didn't matter too much, so whatever. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Finals, it's interesting. You would expect semifinals, finals to be the rounds that like
It was big, grandiose, crazy
crank
things.
that
Yeah.
intensity, but they
But
didn't
it-
for me compared to dance and rap round, and like
Yeah.
watching them all together, because I watched them all together at the same live, and I gotta give dance and like rap a way higher ranking.
They're usually the highlights, aren't they? Although I think again, Queendom One set the bar so high. Like its final,
Yeah.
its Queendom One's final performances were all fantastic.
That's because of who was there.
Yeah.
Just like thinking about it now, who was there is just crazy. Like
Yeah.
having Oh My Girl and Mama Moo compare each other in those like final rounds, amping up against each other, like was just, now thinking about that, that's that's nuts.
And that's not even counting freaking Lion.
Yeah, well,
that was the final performance.
but that, yeah,
like
of course,
yeah.
because you
Yeah.
forget that Gianna was like a rook group at that time.
Yeah.
And now thinking about that and having those three take out on the same show would be nuts to me now, like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Or
collectively I gave what I thought.
That was actually also, was that also the performance? The final was when Doha or Chanmi, she was then known, like snapped that dude's neck. She did like the full like wrapped her legs around and like flung the dude. Like, bro, how is this girl not famous still? Like, whatever. Let's say the thing before I get angry.
Oh, on like, I must say, like on merit of how good some people did, Fi and Doha really elevated beyond like my expectations.
Yeah.
For the show. I thought Miru really held her own for being such a different level, I would say, of like technical skill from others, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Overall, I already gave my kind of opinion with the rap and vocal dance being the best of those rounds. Semifinals was underwhelming to finals.
Yeah.
Shall I give what my 7 would have been before doing the final 7?
I don't know. We can do it that way or the other way around.
I think mine first, and then we'll say who it was.
Okay. All right.
If I had had my way without eliminations, I would have had Yoon in 7th, Nana 6th, Ellie 5th, Bora 4th, Yoni 3rd, 2nd Rina, 1st Yodam.
Okay.
Would have been my lineup. And I'm not disappointed in the final lineup like I think some people were.
Mm-hmm.
I do think some people made it that I still am a fan of. Obviously, like Yuki and Yanni did make it, which I thought was deserved. I know you seem to have a bit of.
I'm just my face showing it already.
On that, I think a group that has really strong members like Yonam and stuff like that needs a Yanni.
It does. That's true.
I think when you think of the collective, that's a really
Yeah,
good.
think of like the group dynamic and stuff like that
Hmm.
for sure. Um, what I will say on that front, if we consider the actual lineup as it is, as Lisa Kay, Nana, Yeon, Yonhee, Yoram, and Yuki, there is a need for the Yonhee role. I completely agree. Someone
And
who's just
I have no
solid and bright
problem
and bubbly.
with Huisa and like Kay obviously
Uh-huh.
making it either. Like you can't complain about
No, no, no.
that either. Like
What I will say is that for this exact lineup as it is, I think Yonhee is a sneak to get into that lineup, personally speaking, because as you said, she was very consistent, but I don't think she ever had like a real, apart from like, I don't think there was ever a moment where I was like, wow, what Yonhee has really, really impressed me
mm,
here. Whereas
no,
almost
I get it.
almost everyone else, and this is also true for Yuki. I know what Yuki is capable of,
Yeah, she
but
snuck through the show for me.
I
Never had a
don't think
giant
Yuki.
moment like.
I don't think Yuki ever blew me away in the show like I know she's capable of doing. Um,
I must
I
say, glad she
personally,
made it. I think in the actual lineup,
yeah,
she's gonna really kill
I,
it. Like,
I think there's also the argument to be made that now you have two main rappers in a group, and so they're going to have to split their
make it
parts.
rap heavy.
Could be,
Look at
but
Stray Kids.
I would have had for the Yonhee role, as we'll call it, I would have had Ellie instead. I would have
I can agree with that, and I would have
swapped
not had a
Ellie.
problem with that. And like
Um,
I said, I could agree with interchanging any of the ones kind of I picked for some that.
I think on balance, at least going into the final as it was, I would have had Prisa, Doha, Yeon, Ellie, Yoram, and then maybe Kay and Jihan.
Hmm. I can,
I
yeah.
think.
I could have swapped Bora and K either way for me.
Yeah, I mean that they're like a like for like swap, right? And I think the reason is I think for me personally, when I was voting for the show, I voted like Miru and Five, by the way, like almost throughout the whole thing,
Valid. I
and
understand.
jury as well. But what I didn't necessarily want people who were still in active groups to be in the group,
Yeah, to
or at
impede
least
the
not
active
like
group.
depending on the stage of their career where they're at, right? So like for Yoram, I'm kind of like, okay, like we can kind of see that WJSN is kind of winding down and people are doing their own things more and more. That's fine for her. But for groups who are in their fourth or fifth year, like Cherry Bullet or Purple Kiss or Rocket Punch, I'm like, I don't really. I think
Yeah, Purple
I want them to use
Kiss
that
not
variety more.
having full use of Yuki
I
is
mean,
interesting.
this obviously they're saying they will be able to do their stuff, and like Yuki just promoted with Purple Kiss for the new song
That's
they
a
did
stacked schedule though. Like
and
thinking
they're about to go on tour as well. They're about to tour the US. Like obviously busy for them, but I think the real ones I really wanted, like Doha K and Yeon, I really wanted to get in because I'm like, these guys have been in groups, they've come out of groups, and they still want to make something go. Especially like Yeon's has already had a solo stuff case doing anything, but especially Doha, I think she really deserved it and needed it for a career
definitely
perspective.
top five that
Yeah,
we talked about both on merit. I think could have made it to the final lineup for
yeah.
sure.
So
I think they
yeah.
both had valid reasons to be there.
I think Fi I wouldn't have had her in the final lineup because of a similar kind of reason to why I wouldn't have had Yonhee in it. She was like consistently very good, but I don't think there was that moment where I was like, oh holy shit. I think she impressed me just in the sense that she was a complete unknown. But then I'm thinking like, how would she have really fit into a group dynamic, and how would she have really fit into those doing that kind of stuff? I'm not sure, but her vibe when she got eliminated was hilarious. She was just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna promote my stuff. She was like, so I'm gonna release more music, and I'm also in a movie later. Check it out. Literally, and Taylor was just there like, she was just there like, yeah, man, like, you get your stuff out there, girl. Like, do your thing. She actually just she just had a performance here. There's like an Asia Song Festival thing with like different artists from all over Asia or something. And she was the Thai representative, and she's still hilarious. Like she still obviously doesn't quite fully understand everything in Korean. So these two dudes were saying a load of stuff. She's just there like, yeah, yeah. But anyway, I'm very happy to have discovered her. Through the show. The show's
my biggest hope out of the show for the ones that didn't make it, especially like Rena and stuff, that the group like High Key and stuff, like those groups just get big boost in popularity from how good their members did.
High Key and the comeback that they just released, which fucking smacked, by the way.
Yeah, like, the one called Soul, right?
Yeah. I think they like went from like 5,000 or 6,000 sales to like 70,000.
That's nice. No, so like, that's like a visual boom.
Yeah,
I would like to see that for Rocket Punch as well and everything.
And now, of course, it's like, all right, so can we give that to everyone? Let's not have to keep waiting for like another Wiki Meki release or another Lightsum release or whoever it might be. And Rocket Punch, I know, broke their first week sales record, but not by like an astronaut.
Not by like a massive amount like that High Key.
Yeah, they showed growth. Which is good. But yeah, I mean, Haikyuu already kind of had that. They already had their like mini viral hit here, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
number one. Like, probably everyone knows that freaking song. Like,
what is it?
Rose Blossom.
Rose Blossom. Yeah.
Right, like in the stadium that we saw them at, like we were in the front. It was like the section we were in was full of international fans, and all the Koreans were in the back. And when that song is on, just all of them singing, like everyone knows that song now. Honestly.
Hopefully, they grab some of that same like attention just because of this show and everything. It'd be valid, in my opinion. They're really solid. Like
and I'm curious, like what the whole success of L's Up is gonna be.
Okay, to conclude everything, can we talk about that name? Because that name is
it's so bad.
When Logan typed it in the chat after I finished watching everything and I saw the name for the first time, it was my brain like didn't know how to process it, and it had like the plus sign, which I'm told has been taken away.
It has.
But
that doesn't necessarily make it any better.
It's like the formula for a bad soda or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
it's impossible not to think of 7-Up. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. I don't know. It entered Bugs at 95th from after an hour of the song. So I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know.
Oh, neither have I. Well, that'll be a discussion for next time. I guess we'll conclude with like
maybe we can go through and try and do like, if we can, try and do like a power ranking of
like the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's not that hard because I already have my 7, so it's just continuing down from there, basically.
Yeah.
Do you mean from like episode 1?
No, just like all
the performance, like
the performers. I mean, like do a power ranking of all of the girls.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then we can do like a little mini review of each person if we have time or something.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds good. To conclude, the name is not good.
The name is really bad. And it's like the fandom name is just the same without the P.
What?
It's just like L's. Yeah.
L's?
L's U. Yes, it's terrible. I mean, I understand the concept of the name, not the fandom name, but the group name is puzzle backwards, right?
Something can have logic and not be.
but it doesn't make it good, yeah. And I know that someone at Mnet really thought they were cooking with that one.
They're on something else over there, dude. Like, I don't know how a large amount of people could see that name and not go, maybe we should like rethink this one. Like,
not great.
It's just one of those things when you read it, your brain is like, what am I reading?
You're like, this is not a word. Yeah.
Your brain
tries to autofill it, and it's just like that.
Like, it's eye catching for the very wrong reason. Sure. Like that you don't want it to be eye catching.
When Taeyeon announced the name of, you could tell that she was trying not to laugh. And then the girls were sat there like, oh, is it? Great, yeah, can't
Yeah,
wait.
like Cheon somewhere heard that and was like, "Man, I dodged a bullet." like,
Yeah, yeah. She's like, my name fucking smacks. Are you kidding?
yeah,
Like,
like, oh my god,
yeah.
dude! I really hope somehow that name changes. I don't. I know it's too late,
Anyway,
but I hope somehow they find a way to change that name because it is just like
what's also
it's.
interesting about it is oh, the concept of the group as a whole is that they're not tied to a contract in the same way that of like years like other project groups are. So they don't have like it's 2.5 years or whatever and then done. It's they have an obligation to release 3 albums
Three.
and three
That's
and
actually
one.
like a decent chunk.
Yeah, and like obviously the time frame in which they release that is just going to be based around when the members are able to do it, I guess. I hope obviously that there are at least ideally probably 2 minis and a full album, right? That would be ideal. Um,
Too many is a full.
yeah, and like I don't think it has to last more than a year or two as a whole. Like waiting 6 9 months between each release. Um, and I think that's a pretty cool way of doing it when you have a group with this idea where you're pulling members from existing things. You so you don't disrupt things too much. I think as a whole, I think the show was a success, right? Like I think it was an enjoyable watch. I think the performances were good. I think it gave some exposure to people that otherwise wouldn't have had that exposure.
Mm.
Uh, and I
Oh,
do hope they do it again or something similar in the future. I hope it's not just a one and done.
yeah, it's an interesting concept. It would be cool to see them do it again. Maybe like more to see who they would grab again for the show and stuff.
Yeah.
Taeyong should host everything. Is my final conclusion.
Well, inevitably there'll be a Kingdom Puzzle next, right? Like
Of course,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting to see what groups they could grab from for something like that.
Yeah.
Overall, was a really good show. I do wish some people had made it that didn't. As always, if you guys hear that is my dog Momo trying to scratch her way into my room right now.
Actually, just me loading a shotgun to take down anyone who supports you on heat. I'm joking.
Oh my god. Yeah, I do
Leave
like
us
the final
alone.
lineup. I do look forward to seeing the performances and the song.
I've seen a clip. I've seen a picture of the stage today from M Countdown, their debut stage. Obviously, it's
Do
a
you even
next show.
do you even need to ask who my bias is?
But what I'll tell you is they are wearing some hilarious shoes.
Oh no.
Like Kay's shoes are so comically large. It's like I'm not this is a weird preface for any sentence. I'm not a feet guy, but all I can think of is Kay's shoes. Like those things are they're like pink moon boots, and they're hilarious. Anyway, look out for that.
Pink
You
moon
watch.
boots is what I'm gonna have going through my head like the entire time.
Yeah, honestly, they're hilarious.
Kay
So
and
fun.
Yoram having to fit a concept is what I'm most like interested in seeing. Yin and Kay and Yoram as a concept together is such a
Bizarre,
almost mind baffling, but I'm very
Yeah.
interested.
I think when I didn't really follow any of the teasers or anything that closely, so I've got no idea what the song is going to sound like or anything like that. But I saw just a picture of all of them together, and I was kind of like, it's like my brain was like, I recognize all of these faces, but I'm still not used to seeing
You have
them
to agree,
next to
Rena
each
with
other.
those members would have really fit.
Or maybe her shoulders would have been out of frame. But
The concept, though, for sure. Like, all right, that's it. I'm sure we'll actually still continue discussion about this a little bit more after we've done like a power ranking and listened to the song.
The comeback, yeah.
We'll see the comeback. Anyways, that is our Queendom Puzzle review conclusion. As promised,
Yeah.
I'm Honan.
I'm Oliver.
Goodbye.